$300,000. That's the price of vengeance. The cost of flooding an entire neighborhood because one woman couldn't stand a backyard stream stealing her spotlight. I'm Arthur Morgan, a retired hydraulic engineer who thought he'd found peace in Sycamore Glen Estates. But when an HOA tyrant named Eleanor Vance decided my garden's gentle waterfall threatened her iron grip, she unleashed a disaster that turned our quiet suburb into a swamp and her own empire into ruins. If you've ever dealt with an HOA drunk on power, you'll want to hear how this ends. Trust me, when karma flows like water, it drowns the guilty in their own chaos. When I moved to Sycamore Glen Estates, I saw opportunity where others saw a problem, a soggy depression behind my new home, dismissed by the realtor as a drainage headache. With 30 years designing flood control systems, I knew I could transform it. My late wife, Diane, always dreamed of a garden that sang with water. So, I spent months studying the land, its contours, soil, and natural flow. Neighbors whispered about the crazy old guy with his notebooks and measuring tools, but I didn't care. Diane taught me to listen to the silence, to let water tell its own story. By spring, I'd built Willow Creek, a closed-loop water feature with cascading falls, native plants, and solar-powered pumps. A wooden bridge arched over it, framed by blooming dogwoods and Japanese maples. Koi darted through crystal pools, and soon, families stopped by to marvel, kids giggling, couples snapping photos. It was Diane's dream, alive and flowing. Then I met Eleanor Vance, the HOA president who ruled Sycamore Glen like a petty monarch with a clipboard. Her sprawling colonial on Primrose Lane was the neighborhood's supposed gold standard, beige, sterile, and soulless. For 8 years, she'd enforced her vision with petty fines and sanctimonious newsletters. Trouble brewed when her annual home showcase tour, a pompous parade for realtors, lost its shine. Buyers wanted to linger at my stream, not her meticulously staged house. "It's so unique," they'd say, while Eleanor's smile tightened. When the local paper ran a feature on Willow Creek, ignoring her manicured lawn, her resentment boiled over. 3 days later, an HOA violation notice landed in my mailbox, accusing me of creating a flood hazard and demanding I shut down the stream. I laughed. Stop water from flowing? Might as well stop the sun from rising. I fired back with a 20-page report, diagrams, soil tests, rainfall data proving my stream prevented flooding. I sent it by certified mail, knowing Eleanor's bureaucratic games were no match for my decades navigating permits. But she wasn't playing fair. On the Sycamore Glen social media group, she posted dire warnings about insurance rates and property values, painting me as a reckless menace. Neighbors split into camps. Some shared photos of their kids feeding my koi. Others parroted Eleanor's fear-mongering. She called an emergency HOA meeting urgent flood hazard. I arrived to find the community center staged like a courtroom, complete with security guards and a projector. Eleanor, gavel in hand, opened with a sermon about protecting the community from undue risks. Her expert, her bumbling nephew, Brendan, delivered a presentation so absurd it claimed my stream could trigger tsunami-like floods. The crowd stirred as he butchered basic physics. Then Robert Davies, a retired engineer and neighbor, stood up. "This is nonsense," he declared. "I've reviewed Arthur's plans. His system improves drainage." Murmurs grew louder. Eleanor's supporters lobbed scripted questions about safety and premiums, but the room turned when Robert recounted losing his home to floods years ago. "Developers ignored nature," he said. "Arthur works with it." Chaos erupted. Neighbors shouted. Eleanor's gavel banged, and her nephew stammered. She ended with a bombshell. "The board has voted to force Mr. Morgan to dismantle the stream within 30 days or face legal action." I stood calm but firm. "Eleanor, I'll see you in court. But why does my stream bother you so much?" Her mask slipped just for a second, revealing raw fury. She stormed out. Her harassment intensified. My mailbox was too low, my bins visible too long. But the community Save Willow Creek group gained 200 members overnight. Then, a cryptic text, "Check your security cameras." 11 p.m., 2 trucks from Vance Construction, owned by Eleanor's brother, rolled up. 6 workers unloaded quickset concrete. And there, in her silver SUV, sat Eleanor, directing the sabotage. My blood boiled, but Diane's voice echoed. Build with wisdom, not anger. I recorded everything. License plates, faces, her silhouette. My lawyer, Mark Jennings, advised, let them dig their own grave. For 3 hours, they buried my stream, killing fish, crushing maples, and ruining Diane's bridge. A jogger, Sarah Chun, appeared, snapping photos before vanishing. At 3:30 a.m., I surveyed the wreckage, a concrete scar where beauty once flowed. I wanted to confront Eleanor, but Sarah returned. I'm not just a neighbor, she said. I'm a journalist tracking Eleanor's corruption. This is her last mistake. The next morning, police documented the vandalism, whistling at the damage. Eleanor arrived, feigning shock. Arthur, what happened to your garden? She cooed. But as rain clouds gathered, her act crumbled. A Texas-sized downpour hit. With the stream blocked, water pooled, fast. Streets flooded, driveways submerged, and Eleanor's low-lying mansion became a lake. Neighbors texted in panic. Water's in my house. The irony was brutal. Eleanor had caused the very flood she'd blamed me for. News crews arrived, filming her evacuation by firefighters and hip waiters. Her prize rose garden drowned. Sycamore Glen looked like a disaster zone, the air thick with sewage and outrage. At an emergency HOA meeting in the flooded high school gym, Eleanor pointed at me. Arthur's stream caused this. Robert stood. No, Eleanor. Your concrete did. He revealed security footage of her brother's trucks. Sarah Chun then dropped her bombshell. The $300,000 emergency flood mitigation contract, costing each household $1,200, was awarded to Eleanor's nephew signed before the flood. The crowd roared, demanding audits and resignations. Eleanor's gavel was useless against the rebellion. Sarah's expose hit the news. HOA tyrant's concrete plot floods homes. It detailed her embezzlement, rigged bids, and harassment, with photos of her cozying up to her brother's construction firm. The story went viral. Sycamore Glen became a national punchline. Neighbors shared horror stories, fines for the wrong paint color, untidy flower beds. Eleanor's press conference, blaming me, only fueled the fire. Robert invoked an obscure bylaw, rallying 35% of homeowners for a recall vote. Eleanor fought dirty, launched a smear campaign with anonymous letters, threatened a $5,000 per household legal fee, even tried for a restraining order against me. But residents struck back, refusing HOA payments and hiring pro bono lawyers. 2 days before the vote, I caught Eleanor in my yard, photographing the cleanup. This is a crime scene, she shrieked, but her trembling hands betrayed her fear. Resign, I urged. Let us heal. Tears welled. The HOA is all I have, she whispered. I later learned her house was triple mortgaged, her real estate ventures bust, her power funded by kickbacks. She fled the next day as federal investigators closed in on her tax evasion and fraud. The recall vote ousted her board, with Robert as interim president, dropping her lawsuit against me. But Eleanor's legal trap lingered. A $300,000 suit claiming my stream caused the flood. Mark Jennings saw an opportunity. We'll countersue for destruction of property and defamation. Sarah's evidence emails, financials, even Eleanor's search history, how to legally destroy property, was damning. Brendan, facing his own charges, confessed Eleanor paid him to lie about flood risks. At a coffee shop, Eleanor begged to settle. I've lost everything, she said, her voice breaking. I'll pay for the stream. Just drop the suit. Against Mark's advice, I agreed to a partial deal. She'd admit guilt, pay for restoration, and testify about her corruption. In court, she laid bare 8 years of abuse. Admitting jealousy drove her to target my stream. It made people happy, she said. I couldn't stand it. Judge Patricia Holloway, incredulous, summed it up. She spent $50,000 to destroy a flood-preventing garden, then $300,000 to fix the flood she caused, all out of spite. Laughter rippled. I won full damages, plus funds to replace Diane's beloved maples. In her federal sentencing, neighbors' letters, Robert's speech on transparency, and kids' drawings of the rebuilt stream earned her 18 months. The community rebuilt Willow Creek in 6 weeks. Landscapers donated materials, kids painted rocks, and we added a meditation nook and an amphitheater. At the Memorial Day reopening, Robert spoke of resilience, Sarah of HOA Reform, and young Leo Miller released new koi. I named it the Diane Morgan Memorial Garden, overwhelmed by its beauty. Months later, Eleanor wrote from prison, "Willow Creek is beautiful. I'm sorry. Maybe I can help maintain it someday." I filed it away. Redemption takes time. Today, Willow Creek is Sycamore Glen's heart. Under Robert's leadership, the HOA is transparent, meetings are packed, and property values are up not from rules, but from unity. I sit by the stream daily, Diane's wisdom guiding me. Conflict breeds growth. Eleanor's rage inadvertently gave us a gift, a community forged in defiance. Karma didn't just punish her, it transformed us. If your HOA is a nightmare, share your story. And when someone tries to bury your dreams in concrete, wait for the rain. Water, like justice, always finds its way.